Alright, let's talk about something that's blowing up in the healthcare world. Those full-body scans you pay for, right? You know, the ones where you walk into a futuristic clinic, strip down to your underwear, and get scanned by 70 cameras while classical music plays. It sounds like a scene from a sci-fi movie, but it's real, and it's dividing opinions. So, what's the deal with these scans? Are they the future of medicine, or are they just another cash grab for private clinics? Let me break it down. Here's the thing. I recently went through one of these scans myself. And honestly, I was both fascinated and a little creeped out. Standing in that curved machine, feeling like a lab rat, I couldn't help but wonder, what exactly am I paying for? A few £100s to get a 3D avatar of my body? That's wild. But here's the kicker. The company behind it, Neko Health, says they're not just selling scans, they're selling prevention. They argue that waiting until you have symptoms is outdated. Prevention is better than cure, right? But wait, is that actually true? Or are we just creating a new layer of anxiety for people who don't need it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. These scans are supposed to catch things like skin cancer, heart issues, and diabetes before they become a problem. But here's where it gets messy. Take Annabelle, a woman who had a suspicious mole on her back. Her skin missed it entirely. She had to point it out to the doctor herself. And then, after further tests, they found 3 more cancerous marks. That's terrifying. But also, it raises a question. If the tech can miss obvious signs, how reliable is it really? And if it's missing things, is it worth the money and the stress? On the flip side, there's Mevish, who found out she had a rare form of diabetes through this scan. She didn't have any symptoms, and without it, she might not have known. That's the power of early detection. But here's the catch. How many people like Mevish are there? And how many others are getting false positives, leading to unnecessary tests and anxiety? Because let's be real, if you get told you have a suspicious mole or an abnormal heart rhythm, even if it turns out to be nothing, it's going to mess with your head. And don't get me started on the NHS's reaction. GPs are basically saying, we've seen this before. Overdiagnosis is a real problem. When people go to private clinics, they get flagged for things that might not even matter. Then they come back to the NHS for more tests, which strains an already overburdened system. It's like a revolving door of anxiety and bureaucracy. But here's the thing. Some people argue that the NHS is too slow, too reactive. What if these private scans are the next step in making healthcare more proactive? Maybe they're not perfect, but they're trying something new. And then there's the cost. These scans aren't cheap. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of pounds. That's a lot for something that might not even find anything. But here's the twist. Companies like Neko Health are raising millions in venture capital. They're not just selling scans, they're selling a vision of the future where everyone can afford this kind of care. But that's a big if. Right now, it's only accessible to those who can afford it. So, is this a step toward equality, or is it just another way for the wealthy to skip the queue for healthcare? Personally, I think the idea is fascinating. But it's also scary. We're talking about AI analyzing our bodies, but how accurate is that? How many false alarms are we going to get? And what happens when people start relying on these scans instead of trusting their doctors? I mean, I went through one, and I got a clean bill of health, except for a few moles and a weird heart rhythm. But even that turned out to be normal. Still, I'm now more paranoid about sunscreen. It's like, oh, I have freckles, so I'm at higher risk for skin cancer? I didn't even know that. So, did this scan save my life? Maybe not. But it made me think about my health in a way I hadn't before. At the end of the day, this isn't just about scans. It's about how we define health. Are we going to keep waiting until we're sick, or are we going to start checking for problems before they even show up? And if we do, who gets to afford it? The truth is, we're standing at a crossroads. These scans could revolutionize medicine, but they could also create more problems than they solve. What do you think? Should we embrace this new era of preventative healthcare, or are we just chasing shadows with expensive machines? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked this breakdown, hit that like button, because the future of healthcare is complicated, and I'm just trying to make sense of it all.